Hello and welcome back to Toy Thursday with Johnny Tiger on May 19, 2022. Wow, seems like the last week just went by in a blur, and suddenly we are here with another Toy Thursday. So last week on International Nurses Day, we took a look at the Angel of Mercy, or aka Mercy herself, from the Overwatch video game. So when we did that, I promised that we're going to take a look at another female character that actually came in a two-pack with Mercy. I figured if I showed Mercy, I might as well show her partner, friend. I don't really know if they have that much to do with each other. I know at one point, Mercy was working in a field hospital in Egypt, healing the sick and all that stuff. And the character we are looking at today, definitely has strong ties to Egypt. So maybe they did work together there. I mentioned before I never played Overwatch, so I really don't know as much as I should about these characters, other than what I can find on my researching their bios. But regardless, no matter if they actually have anything connected with each other, they did come together in a two-pack, and they both Mercy and our subject today, Pharah, Mercy and Pharah. That sounds like a great name for a girl rock and roll band. Um, they were the first Overwatch action figures that I have purchased for my collection. Now, some people say that if you don't know Overwatch, why did you buy the action figures? If you didn't never played the game, you didn't really know what the characters looked like. Well, part of the reason was actually I was doing some research for another line of action figures, the Hero of the Storm, and Hero of the Storm, for those of you that don't know, was made by the company Blizzard that made World of Warcraft, Diablo, StarCraft, and yes, Overwatch. So when I was researching for my action figure from Hero of the Storm, I came across references of Overwatch action figure, and so I looked, or actually, let me say, Overwatch characters. And so I started looking into them. I thought, wow, Overwatch looked like a really cool property. And like I mentioned before, it's a super team of military uh, people trying to defend the world from aliens and cybernetic uh, Terminator-like threats. That's pretty much all I had to know. I didn't need to know that much more because for me, that already made a really cool team of action figures that I knew I would probably be really into. And I'm glad that I was not disappointed. I started with Pharah, Mercy and Pharah, and I pretty soon had almost the entire team, or at least the ones that were released. Sadly, the Overwatch line of action figures was kind of that ended after Series 2 and kind of got canceled before all the characters got released. But we did get some really good ones, and I hope that through some future Toy Thursdays we'll get to look at more of them. We already seen a couple of them before, such as Mercy, and we're going to look at another one today, which is the character that came in a two-pack with Mercy. Her name is Pharah. Unlike Mercy, who was a pacifist and whose sole mission was always about healing and treating the wounded and making sure people are safe, Farah, you can say, is the polar opposite uh, with her function on the team. Uh, Farah is what you would call the long range aerial artillery support, which means she flies in and blows things up. Like she literally that is her function. That is what she's good at. She's like a human-sized fighter jet, armed with the state-of-the-art missiles and rockets and all kind of dangerous, high explosive, long-range stuff. You point her to where the enemies are, and she will just send a barrage of rockets over there and demolish them. So she is basically the warrior to Mercy's being a healer. But let's take a look at the background of this very impressive looking female character. Her full name is Fariha Amara. Her mother actually appeared in one of our past Toy Thursday when we showed the badass grandmother, uh, and we showed a character called Anna Amari. Uh, and Anna Amari is actually the mother to Fariha Amari. I said Amara earlier. It's actually Amari. I'm not at the top of my game today, am I? So yeah, Anna is the mother of and Fariha. We'll just call her Farah because that is her code name, and that's what most people know her by. Anna, being Egyptian, married a Canadian soldier called Sam, and they had a daughter. So Farah is half Canadian, yay for Canada, and half Egyptian. When she was little, she spent a lot of time in Canada hanging out with her dad, while her mom was serving duties on the Overwatch team. Her mom, Anna, for those of you who never watched that episode or who don't remember, Anna is one of the world's best sniper, the most deadliest sniper in the world. That's why she was recruited for the Overwatch team. Um, so while Anna went off on dangerous missions to try to save the world from terrorists and aliens and robots, little Farah was spending time in Canada with her dad. Growing up, Farah always wanted to one day be like her mom. She aspired to be like her mom. She wanted to be a soldier and she wanted to join Overwatch to fight aliens and evil robots. But in a surprising twist, her mom forbade her from following in her footsteps. In fact, her mom wouldn't even allow her to play with guns and weapons. She did teach Farah martial art so she can defend herself, but she totally forbade her from following in her footsteps. And this is where I'm going to digress for just a quick second because this is where I have a very strong connection. I feel a very strong connection. I can relate to this character because when I was little, my nanny Maru, whom I've spoken about before many times in Soul Search Sunday, uh, my nanny Maru forbade me to play with any toy weapons in the thought that if she could keep me away from playing with weapons, then I wouldn't grow up to be violent and weapon loving and psychotic person like my father. Kind of ironic, really, considering how things worked out for me. And apparently it did not work for little Farah as well. Because as soon as she grew up, she went off and joined the Egyptian army to be part of the military defending Egypt from external threat. After serving her time in the Egyptian army, she went and became the head of the security force at an organization called Helix Security Agency. Now, what is Helix Security Agency? I don't really know because I don't, like I said, I didn't play the game. So, from what I have read, Helix is basically the organization that is put in charge to make sure that all the robots are good little boys. So, Overwatch is there to fight terrorists and robots and aliens when they act up, but Helix Security is the organization that actually uh, maintain the robots and make sure that they all take their medicines or have the right programming so they don't go psychotic and start killing people. That's my understanding of it. I mean, you know. So anyway, rather than joining Overwatch, Pharah joined Helix Security to help keeping robots nice and docile and away from attacking people. Somewhere along the line, she was outfitted with the armor you see her in. This is called the Raptora armor, which is really, really sleek and cool looking. We'll talk more about the armor after we go through her biography. There's really not that much more to say, but somewhere along the line, somewhere when Farah was still serving in the army, her mom, Anna, went on a very dangerous mission with Overwatch and didn't come back. She actually survived. Spoiler alert! I think most of you know that already. Those of you that know the game, Anna actually survived, but because she was seriously wounded and suffered a bit of memory loss, and after she got her memory back, she decided to stay dead, so to speak, like let everyone think she's dead, so uh, people wouldn't try to hunt her down. And this is something kind of messed up. She didn't let her daughter know that, hey, mommy's still alive. It's okay. Don't worry. Don't have to be sad. Mommy's just hiding right now. No, she didn't let Farah know until a lot later, like years later. Finally, she started writing letters to Farah, and this is like really wacky, like poor communication stuff. Like, what? You make me think that you've been dead all these years, and I was grieving, I was sad, I had to go to counseling, I was all traumatized, I had to grow up alone, and now you think just writing letters is appropriate. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Anna was thinking, but Farah wasn't having none of it. She didn't return any of her mom's letters, and not until much later when uh, one time she met with another Overwatch member whom she had some history with. That Farah got talked into finally going to reconciliate and meet up with her mom, and they made up and start talking to each other again. But mother and daughter, unfortunately, were never as close as they once were after this experience. So that is basically the bio of this skydiving, flying warrior lady. And now we'll look at the design of the character and the action figure itself. As I already mentioned, Farah is the owner of the Raptora armor. It's a very sleek, blue, metallic blue, uh, very high-tech looking armor with all kind of weapons built into it, and it has gold and silver accents. The helmet looks a lot like an Egyptian design with gold in the front and kind of looks like an eagle's beak. If you look at her face close enough, which you can actually see under the helmet, you'll see that Farah has an Egyptian tattoo around one of her eye, and that is supposedly the same tattoo that her mom had. This is tattoo, Egyptian tattoo, symbolizing protection. Now, when Farah was little, she thought, when her mom told her the tattoo meant protection, she thought that meant her mom would always be there to protect her. But what it actually meant was that the wearer of the tattoo is her job to protect other people. A lot of people have mentioned that Pharaoh's armor make it look like it's too skinny, too sleek. It doesn't look like something that a person can fit inside, but that's really just logic. I mean, it's a character from a video game. It's a high tech world, like almost futuristic with a lot of crazy technology. So who's to say they didn't find a way to make armors look super skinny on a person? Now Farah actually came with one of these really cool flight stand that allow her to look like she's hovering. Like I said, she came in a two pack with Mercy, And this was one of the biggest problems with the two pack. Both of them, Mercy and Pharah, were flying characters. They both have combat armor that allow them to fly. Uh, but there was only one flight stand, so it was a very silly thing for the company Hasbro to do in this case. Luckily, because I collect so many figures, luckily I have another uh, spare flight stand that someone else is not using. I was able to give it both to them so they can each have their own flight stand. So as you guys can see, I'm displaying Farah on her flight stand, so she's hovering quite high off the floor. Um, she is. Thank you. She is mostly meant to be displayed flying like this because uh, if you try to pose her on her feet, her the back of her armor and her weapons make her really tippy. She doesn't stand very well. Now we look at the coolest part of this particular character and action figure. On the back of Farah's armor, yeah, you thought I was going to talk about her backside, didn't you? No. The back of Farah's armor have these rocket propulsion system, like rocket jets, that's built in, and the figure comes with four blue translucent effect that come out of you can attach to these rockets, like she's in the middle of flying. Now these are actually a pain and a half in the butt to attach. This is why I'm not even removing them for you guys to see what they look like removed. Okay, I'm just going to leave them on there because it's frustrated me so much trying to attach them. Um, but with them on, she is quite back heavy, and so this is why you need the fight stand for her to stand properly. But it gave her a very impressive looking profile with these energy, like fiery energy trailing out the back of her body like this. And even better, these rocket jets can be posed. They're all articulated, so you can have them directed in different directions. On her left forearm, you can see a small rocket firing system that allow her to fire a small rocket to stun her opponent with, if she want to. Another really cool feature of this action figure and this character is she has missiles built into her shoulder pad. There are two panels that can open on her shoulder pad to display the missiles inside, and these will allow her to fire a whole barrage of missiles to bomb her enemies out of existence. Obviously, the toys can't do that, but it's pretty cool that they actually let you open the panel so you can see the missiles inside. And just in case she feels that her missiles and her arm rocket, her ability to fly is not enough to get the job done, she also comes with a handheld giant rocket launcher. Unfortunately, the rocket launcher is part of this figure's problem. The figure, even though she's very well articulated with all kind of cool stuff like opening panels on her armor and the posable rocket jets on her back, her arms have very little range of movement, especially in her elbow. So this is one action figure that really should have a double joint in her elbow so she can hold her rocket launcher in a more convincing pose rather than just sticking it out like a handgun like this. But this is all she's able to do because her arms, her elbows don't even have a 90-degree bend in them. So this is definitely a handicap for this action figure. Her wrist joints and arm joints tend to be a little bit loose as well, so the big rocket launcher tend to kind of want to droop down a little bit unless you pose it just so. have to be really balanced. But all in all, Farah and Mercy are a pair of very striking looking female action figure. I'm always for girl powers on my shelf, and also Farah here is half Canadian, half Egyptian, and like I said, I feel a very strong connection to her because how her mom wouldn't let her play with guns, and how my nanny Maru wouldn't let me play with guns and toy weapons as well. We both turned out to be a very warrior-like in the end, regardless. Thank you for checking out today's Toy Thursday. We'll be back again next week for some more goodies on Toy Thursday. Don't forget to check out tomorrow, Fitness Friday, and other videos on this channel. And if you like this channel, please pass the word around and subscribe and hit likes and all that stuff. Okay? Letting me know that you guys enjoy the channel is one of the best ways to keep me going with coming out with new content every day. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.